The GIEPA and AfreximBank Roadshow is expected to reinforce and activate various initiatives aimed at driving Gambia's participation in intra-Africa trade. They, like most African countries, are naturally endowed but can't add values to its raw products, and as a result they are sold to the West, where they are processed and returned to the country and sold at a price sometimes not desirable. GIEPA, OakwoodnGreen and AfreximBank want the reverse by support entrepreneurship and investment. This is the second edition of the AfreximBank Trade Roadshow, and it has provided opportunities to entities that couldn't partake last year to explore possible funding or structuring support from both AfreximBank and OakwoodnGreen. The Regional Chief Operation Officer Anglophone West Africa, Eric Monchu-Into, gave an insight of the roadshow.
Roadshows are typically one of the many ways we use to expose what AfreximBank mandate stands for, why it was created. But this one is unique because we're doing it with OakwoodnGreen Africa Limited, actually organized by OakwoodnGreen Africa Limited, to make sure the programs and facilities of the African Export-Import Bank are well understood and are brought to even the small or micro, small and medium-sized enterprises.
To promote, facilitate and finance Africa trade for the development of Africa is one of their key priorities.
Gambia is one of those countries that is favorably disposed to be a tourism hub. Gambia is strategically located in the globe, so it's an opportunity for us to be able to combat two crises. One, the impact of COVID-19, which is very much around, and two, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, which has not just impacted the Gambians alone, but the entire continent. We have also come to listen to understand the needs, the key needs of the government, the key needs of the private sector, like the commercial banks, the key needs of the central banks and parastatals.
The program is expected to facilitate their business growth and improve their access to finance and other forms of support services. The Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of OakwoodnGreen Africa Limited, Gabriel Edgall, speaking to journalists, gave a synopsis of his agency.
Why is it that one country in Africa has this and the other country is lacking that? Who is ensuring that resources can be moved from one country in Africa to cover the deficits in another country in Africa? What are the Africa-focused institutions who have solutions to African problems that we are not aware of? Who is ensuring that we can utilize our natural resources to create secondary cottage industries so that we can be a productive economy rather than a consuming economy? So for us, we sat down, OakwoodnGreen Africa, and said, look, with the skills we know we have, can we not do something about this? Can we not be the change that Africa wants? Should we only sit and complain? Or we can actually see how to harness our own capacities for the betterment of Africans.
For Africa to gain back her lost glory is one of OakwoodnGreen Africa Limited objectives.
AfreximBank, like Babuka said, is a $35 billion bank. It is a bank owned by African countries, but I bet that a lot of people do not know that it exists and has the capacity to solve a lot of the challenges. We want to be a conduit for capital into the country, for capital that has the capacity to develop schools, to build hospitals, to build roads, to enhance trade. And trade for us is one of the most important aspects of our vision.
Asked by journalists about the strive for borderless Africa to ensure cross-border trade, Gabriel Edgall answered in the positive. AfreximBank is a pan-African bank that has its objective premised on funding Africa's development project as well as support entrepreneurs involved in business as corporate social responsibility. Janket Ture, GIEPA News.